It's a beautiful sunny day in Paris, and my cat is trying to ruin my video for the 10th time in the row. But who cares? We are going to learn Blender in under 10 minutes and I'm going to create some sort of world record. And when you launch Blender, this is the screen that you are welcomed with. These are the different types of the way you can open the Blender. These are the different types of layout that you can open Blender with, and these are the recent files that you worked on prior to this. Normally you don't have anything if you if you're starting right now. Okay, to get out of the screen, you click somewhere else side of the screen. There we go. We're out of that screen. And this interface, you call it object mode. And then there's the edit mode, sculpt mode, vertex paint, weight paint, texture paint. What the most important modes that we are going to use in this video is edit mode and object mode. So first, in the object mode, you are invited with a cube and a camera and a light. As you can see, this is the layers tab. It's like the layers tab in Photoshop and everything else. So here you can select these objects through this tab. Here you can see light, cube and camera. And to your left you can see these different buttons. When you hover over it, you can see it's this is to move, this is to rotate, and this is to scale the object, and the transform puts together all these three in one tool. For example, I select the cube and I press on this, and you can see there's three arrows that appear around on the object, and these help you to move the cube on the y-axis. How do I know it's the y-axis? It's thanks to this. As you can see, green is for y and the other side is y minus. Then there's the red for x and blue for z. Okay, as you can see, I can move this. I hold the let me activate the screencast keys. Yeah. As you can see here, it will show every buttons that I'm pressing, so it will be more helpful to you. So you press and hold and drag your left mouse button so in the certain direction that you selected, and here you go, I can move the cube on the Z axis. Same goes on the Y axis and on the X axis. Okay, no, something. Okay, you get the point. Now to rotate around the object, you click and hold the middle mouse button and drag. As you can see, you move around the object. And to move around the interface, I mean the viewport of this area, well, you hold shift and same, you hold the middle mouse button and drag it. I can move around. Okay, now for the rest of the tools. This is same goes for the rotate tool. It's just like the move tool. I can move it in the x-axis, y-axis, and the x-axis. This is the scale tool. Same goes here. You click and drag your left mouse, and guess what? Wow. And also to zoom in and zoom out, it's the scroll wheel. You scroll upwards to zoom in and downwards to zoom out. That's how you do it. And if you somehow get yourself lost in the viewport, okay, for example, I'm going, yeah, as you can see, I don't know where's the cube. Well, you can use the layers tab and click on one of the objects. For example, I'm selecting the cube. You select the object and you hold the dot button on your numpad and it takes you back to the object. As you can see, I'm back to the cube. And to get back to where the cube was, I'm going to press Ctrl Z. Yeah, okay. Now we have seen most of the things that you have to know in the object mode. So now you select the object and click here, you can see edit mode. We are going to go to edit mode. This is where you can tinker with the object. For example, as you can see, we can see some vertex, and these are the edges, and these are the face. For example, here, as you can see, we can select which one to show in the viewport. Now, this is the face mode. I can select the face. This is the edge mode. If you hover over it, it will say the name of those buttons. So as you can see here, it's the edge select. This is the edge, and now I can see, now I pressed on the vertex mode and I can do this. These are the same buttons as you saw in the object mode, and these can do the same thing, but as you can see, this time you can select each vertex and move them to modify them. Control Z. And also to grab something without using the move button, you can just press G on your keyboard. You don't press on anything, and you just move your mouse, and to confirm the move you just have to left click once, and yeah, it stays there. But if you right click instead, it goes back to where it was before. Okay, now we go to the important part. This is the face select mode. You select a face, and for example, this control is to extrude region, and the shortcut, as you can see the shortcuts on when you hover over the functions, and in this case you can press E or shift spacebar. And I'm advising you to take time to learn the shortcuts later, but not now, because first of all you got to get used to the interface of the software, and then you can learn the shortcuts. But now, okay, now I selected the extrude region, and as you can see, there's a plus sign that appears here. I hold with my left mouse button and drag it. As you can see, I added another layer to my object. Now to the inset face. This is to make new faces inside. So the shortcut for this is I, but I just clicked here and I click and drag. As you can see, I made some face inside the object. Now I can go back to the extrude region. Extruding is not only outwards, it can go inwards, which can be really helpful to make these kind of complicated models. Okay, and the next one is bevel. Most of the time we do bevels on edges. So you select the edge mode and you select a side, and you just click and drag just like the previous times. And as you can see, I created a bevel. But if you want to do all sides at the same time, you just hold shift and select each and every edges. As you can see, if I drag, it does the same thing to every side. But another thing is, if you want to add more segments to this bevel, well, for example, I am going to hold this and I'm going to use my scroll wheel upwards and downwards to add more segments so this looks more smoother. Okay, Control Z, back to normal. Okay, now the last tools that we are going to see is loop cut and knife. Loop cut is, as you can see, if I select this tool, you can see there's some kind of a yellow overlay around the object. It creates a cut. To confirm the cut, you just left click once. Now the cut is there. But to move the cut somewhere to your preferred region, well, you have to hold the left mouse button and drag it to the place where you want. This is the maximum. These are the maximum levels you can move, but you can put it anywhere in between. So I'm going to put this here. As you can see, that now when I take my finger off the left mouse button, as you can see, the cut has been confirmed. I can do the same thing here. I can drag it, and as you can see, I made a cut. Why use? Well, the use of the cut is, for example, now I go to the extrude tool, I select face mode, and I select one of the faces. As you can see, I can select only this part of the face and not the all the rest like before. For example, now I extrude here. I made something, but as you can see how it can be used. Okay, Control Z. And same goes with the knife tool, but this time you have more freedom on what the cut's going to be look like. For example, I can cut this one, and at the end, to confirm the cut, you have to press on Enter. And as you can see, the cut has been confirmed. This is a weird cut, but just hey. And these lines connect the cut to the vertex, to the edges. And you can do the same thing here with the example. I go here, E to extract. As you can see, I can extrude this way too. Okay, back to the object mode. But okay, if disclaimer is, if you are moving around, if you think the way you are moving around in the viewport is too slow at the start, it's completely normal. So don't get worried about it and waste your time. So start learning how you move around the viewport. But before the end of the video, we are going to try to make an NFT and become a billionaire before the end of 2022. Jokes aside, let's try to make a basic column. So I'm going to scale only on the Z-axis. Okay, now I'm going to drag it a little above the platform. Okay, on the Y-axis. And I'm going to select the object and move back to the edit mode and Control R for the loop cut. Going to hold it and drag it down. S to scale. I'm cheating, right? No, you can use the shortcuts by reading them on these. Well, S is to scale, okay? If you didn't know, I press S again, I can scale it, and no, not Control S. Okay. S to scale, okay. And also a great important thing that I forgot to add on the tutorial at the start is this thing that you see here. This is the viewport shading, the basic shading. You get this gray color, dull looking model, but it's useful while you are creating your model. This is the wireframe view of your model. As you can see, you can only see the segments and the edges being more prominent than the faces. And here you can see the viewport shading. We will see this in another video, and this is the complete shading at the end where you will see the effects of the light. And as you can see, one side is lit and not the other side. And this is the X-ray mode. But first of all, we are going to most of the time we are going to be working with the viewport shading mode. For example, when the X-ray mode is disabled and I'm on the normal viewport shading, if I try to select every side of the model, I have to select by Control while holding Shift and left clicking on each, which takes more time. But if I have the X-ray mode, I can just left click and drag, and for example here I selected all of those at the same time and it facilitates my life. So that's a technique to work faster. Now I'm going to use my bevel technique to, I think it's B, no, Shift B. What's the short? Control B. Okay, oh, calm down. Okay, I'm going to use the lowest amount possible and let's see what it does. Yeah, it looks good. I'm going to turn off the toggle mode and I'm going to turn off the XY mode and back to the object mode. As you can see, I made an okay looking column. Well, if you made this following this, and if you also follow through with me, well, you made your first model. For some of you, this is the first model that you made in Blender. Isn't that exciting? Now if you go to the viewport shading mode, as you can see here, you can see the effects of the light. You can play around with the light, and for example, to create a light or any other object, you just have to press on Shift A, and there's this menu called Add appears, and you can see you can create meshes, curves, surfaces, metaballs, and text, volume, grease pencil, armature, and everything else. As you can see, even the camera and light are in this. So for example, if I click on Shift and I add another light, a point light, you can see the effects in this. Yeah, it's little, as you can see, it's not that bright. You select the light, you go to this object data properties, the light bulb that you see here. You can, as you can see, you can raise the watts, and there you can see the light becomes brighter. And you can play around with this, get used to the interface. And on my next video, I'm going to elaborate more on different tools that are going to be more helpful, and we are going to continue on with this project. So please don't delete it. And yeah, let's meet soon, my friend. And by the way, don't forget to accept my friend request by adding that, by clicking that subscribe button.